My name is Jordan Redfield Wade. By day, I'm a PI working for the NACPD. But by night, my friends, my family, and I fight for the city in a different way. We are the guardians of Newark City. I promised my mother as she lay dying that I would protect and defend this city from anyone that would mean to cause it harm. I am a protector. I am a guardian. I am Red Wing. Episode 8. The Devil's Back. Something was bugging Mrs. Patel. It was 3 p.m. on a Thursday, and she was sitting in the office of the apartment complex in Revenant Heights. Her late husband had begrudgingly given her partial ownership of the apartment over the course of their lengthy marriage. That man, as stubborn as he was, finally conceded to the fact that she was, and had always been, smarter than him, and thus a much more competent landlord. She cared about her tenants, and she tried not to be too invasive, and she tried to keep a professional, healthy, working relationship with all of her tenants. But on this day, something was bothering her, and it had to do with one of her tenants. She pondered, and after a few minutes, she realized what it was. Mrs. Patel hadn't seen the young woman in apartment 7 for 6 days. Mrs. Patel liked that young woman. She was Punjabi, like Mrs. Patel, and she was very pretty and respectful of her elders. She always gave Mrs. Patel notice when she was going to be away for 2 or more days, and would always bring back a little souvenir for her as well. Every 2 days or so, she would call on Mrs. Patel and ask if she needed anything from the shops, and would bring her some sweet confection, even if she didn't need anything. Mrs. Patel had considered trying to arrange a marriage, but there was a problem. The young woman frequently had gentlemen callers, the kind that would exchange money for the young lady's services. It was a shame about that, Mrs. Patel thought. The young woman made very good aloo gobi. In any case, she was very successful and made plenty of money and always paid her rent on time. Mrs. Patel got up and grabbed her keys. She walked to apartment 7 and knocked on the door. She called for the young woman, but heard nothing. She knocked a few more times before giving up and using her key to open the door. The first thing she noticed was the smell in the air. She smelled rotting meat mingled with old incense. The second thing she noticed was the walls. They were plastered with hundreds of faces, all of them men, but ranging in age and attractiveness. Posters for some adult films were hanging on the wall. Mrs. Patel noticed that there was a framed picture missing from the wall, and dead desert rose petals on the ground headed towards the bedroom. Mrs. Patel got out her cell phone and dialed 911, but she didn't press call just yet. She went into the bedroom. The curtains were all drawn, and it was dark in there. She flipped the switch. Mrs. Patel had managed to find the missing framed image, as well as the poor, unfortunate young woman.
So you've been married for a month. How's it feel?
It feels good. I mean, we didn't get to go on a honeymoon, and we've been pulling guardian duty almost every night.
Not how most couples spend day-night, but that'll have to do. By the way, how are the Warriors?
Fine enough. It's easy enough to pop over there if I need to, but fortunately my dad and Amari agreed to train the Warriors. They keep me up to date.
Good. It's strange. Of all the people I thought might become royalty, I didn't think it would be you. Let's get one thing clear, though. I'm not calling you Your Highness. Got that, Princess?
Okay, old man. Let's check out this crime scene.
My God, I'm getting too old for this shit. Okay, Jordan is on the way. Dean, What do we have here? What do you see? What do we know?
Well, we know this victim is Jasminder Kapoor, age 36.
Wait, Jasminder Kapoor? As in the porn star?
Yeah? Why do you know that, Captain?
Because I'm an adult man with a pulse, but I'm asking the questions here. Declare the state of the subject for the record.
The victim has been positioned to be sitting up in bed in a meditative position. The scene was staged very deliberately, and we know this scene was staged because the victim is holding her head in her lap. The body has been decapitated. The victim's head appears to be missing its tongue. The eyes have been shut. We heard from the landlady, who found her in this state, that she was observant of Hindu traditions, but didn't attend services, so the tilak on her head was done after her death. I suspect, based on the way it is flaking, that it was done with her own blood. The body is clothed in what I understand to be the clothing of a Middle Eastern bride, which I suspect was also put on her after her death.
I've only ever seen this level of staging with the storybook killer. But we know he's in prison. Jesus Christ. Alright, so what was her cause of death?
That will require a trip to the morgue to visit Kieran. But if I had to make a guess, I'd say it was the decapitation.
I've got a sneaking suspicion that that's not how she died.
Hey, babe. Glad you could make it.
Hey, babe. Hey, Chief.
Hey, Jordan, what was her cause of death?
Well, I'd imagine the choking was probably what did it. See those marks on her skin near the decapitation wound? They may just look like bruising from the decapitation, but it's too large to be that. And it's kind of hand-shaped. Also, based on looking at this wound, she was decapitated post-mortem. A toxicology report might indicate that there was a chemical agent involved in this as well.
Why is there almost no blood in the crime scene?
It appears as if it was drained from her body. Let me check the bathroom. Oh, wow. Yeah. Nope. Okay. The killer definitely used the bathroom as their kill room. There's plastic sheeting up pretty much everywhere, but there's also blood everywhere. However, weirdly, the bathtub seems to be blood-free, which would probably mean that was where they drained the blood.
The killer was a meticulous monster. Also, this scene was staged specifically for maximum effect, just like 3 years ago. It could be a copycat killer.
All these photos on the wall. Did you find a page that looked like it had been torn out of a book?
Yeah, it's on her night table. Here. What is it?
Hold on, Dad. I've got to check a theory. Hey, is this Officer June? How are you, June? Really? Oh, wow! Congratulations, love. I hope the wedding was magical. Oh, no. No, there's no hard feelings over that arrest. You were just there. Listen, so, I don't mean to be a bother, but I do need a little bit of information. You remember Nicholas Wayne Dunn? Is he still in his cell? Oh. Alright. Thanks, June. Let's get drinks sometime. Okay? Alright, bye. So, Jared, I don't know why you weren't notified of this, but apparently Nick Dunn escaped prison a few days ago.
That's not possible. He was in Supermax. How did he get out?
When we catch him, you can ask him yourself. But at least we know it wasn't a copycat. This is the real, genuine thing. However, he always hides his next victim somewhere in the room.
Okay. So we know his M.O. He's not called the storybook killer for nothing. So which fairy tale was this one?
That's actually pretty clear to me. It's 1001 Nights. Well, first of all, this young woman, her porn name was Scheherazade. So that's already a pretty good sign. Basically, the story of 1001 Nights is the story of a young woman who outsmarts a murderous king by telling him many stories. She tells enough stories to last 1001 nights, and always made sure not to conclude the story that evening. So the king would keep her alive, rather than decapitating her in the morning. It's the framing story for a lot of tales that are told in Middle Eastern fairy tale lore. I bet you his next kill will be a tale from 1001 Nights. What I am wondering is, why specifically did he pick this woman? It can't just have been that her porn name is Scheherazade.
I can answer that, I think. Jasminder Kapoor was a famous adult film star and sex worker, and the number is significant, because she just put out her 1000th scene about 2 weeks ago, and she would put things out weekly, if not more.
Wow, Dad. You follow her career pretty closely, don't ya? That ain't none of my business.
Zip it, Jordan. In any case, she was very good at what she did, and was always kind to her fans on social media.
1001 scenes. And the tongue being severed. Well, I think it's pretty clear. Dunn probably translated those 1001 filmed scenes to 1001 stories told. And in his fucked up twisted logic, 1001 lies told.
Lies told? That seems unfair.
When has Dunn ever been fair?
Let's nab this fucker quickly, before he does something even worse. Before someone else gets hurt.
Alright. I'm gonna go see if I can find what specific book matches this page. It might help me figure out exactly what he's gonna do next. As I headed toward the library, I replayed the day that we nabbed him and got him into the interrogation room. It was arguably this moment that was so sinister, but we got a full picture of his life. Maybe there would be a clue there, if only I could find it.
State your full name for the recording, please. First, middle, and last, as well as your date of birth.
My name is Nicholas Wayne Dunn. I was born April 8th, 1978.
Thank you. Do you know why we brought you in here today?
I haven't the foggiest idea. I'm just a simple florist.
Just a simple florist, eh? Right.
Have you heard about the recent string of murders in our city?
Yes. Absolutely dreadful. The whole business.
We have reason to believe you are tied to these murders.
And what reason would that be?
We've tracked you for the last week. We tracked down store clerks. You're meticulous and very detail-oriented. But what you didn't account for was competent detectives. So, we caught you.
You have nothing to hold over me. I didn't do it.
Then why are you smiling like the Cheshire Cat? That's a rhetorical question. Don't answer that.
Maybe I'm smiling because it's a nervous tick. Maybe you two are intimidating me.
I hope not. That'd be pretty damn pathetic. You see, you're 37 years old. I'm only 25 years old, and yet I've already accomplished so much more than you. You see, I save lives, and your weak, useless-ass single and friendless make pathetic, subpar floral arrangements.
Jay.
Go to hell.
You are so pitiful. You've been single your entire fucking life. I bet you've never even had sex before. Who would bother having sex with you? You'd be bad at it anyway, just like you are at floral arrangements. You know why your flower shop is failing? because you have no artistic eye.
How dare you? I'm a true artist.
Oh yeah, maggot? How about you prove it?
Fine. You're right. I did. I did do all those murders. And you know what? Each and every one of those scenes was its own perfect bit of art. Every one of those kills was more beautiful and poetic than the last. I started with the classic Snow White. I found the perfect subject with her raven hair and effortless beauty. She was kind to me. She came into my shop and paid for the flowers with a card. I knew what I had to do. I got her address and found that she lived alone. I waited for her to arrive, and then I poisoned her fruit and drink. She came home and ate that apple. She died almost instantly. Then I cleaned her up and gave her a clean dress and bright red lipstick. Next, I went for Sleeping Beauty. First, I had to get her to shoot up. I took her to the back of my shop and I gave her the heroin. She overdosed. Or maybe it was the rat poison I had laced the drug with. I wonder. Regardless, you all found her in her bed at home with the needle still in her arm and lips sewn shut. Next, it was the little match girl, and then the frog prince, then Cinderella, and then finally, my largest art installation. 10 of them in one night.
So you claim. Why should I believe you? You've got a history of lying, clearly.
An artist always leaves a signature. At every scene, I left a page from a rare edition of a rare collection of fairy tales. It is the first run of that book, from the year I was born.
That could be just a coincidence. Also, the detail about the pages was in the news, so...
Sleeping Beauty had a single matchstick in her mouth.
And there it is. I knew you would take that bait. You see, a psychopath can't handle the kind of verbal dressing down that I gave you a few minutes ago. Deep down, you want recognition for what you seem to think is art. Now that you've confessed, why don't you tell us why? If you want to tell your story, pretty much right now is your only chance.
Simple. I did it because I am the best artist this world has ever seen. You should all be thanking me for bringing you such compelling art.
Why the fairy tales? What happened to you that broke you?
Did Mommy and Daddy not love you enough? Or did Mommy and Daddy love you too much?
You know, boys, that is your problem. You've seen too many movies about so-called serial killers. You bought the bullshit that boys like Camper sold you on in those tapes back in the 70s. You assume there's a reason. Because every monster has an origin story that explains why they do what they do. But the thing is, I'm not a monster, boys. In fact, Jordan, my brain is exactly like yours. And Officer Morgan, yours too. When I have a goal, I strive to reach that goal by any means necessary. And you know what? My goal now is to break out of jail and continue to make my art.
Over my dead body.
That's the plan.
Are you threatening an officer of the law?
I'm not threatening your boyfriend. Oh, you think this was a surprise for me? No. I knew you'd get it eventually. I left clues for you both, ones you should have seen. I followed you both when I figured you were on my trail. So, when I break out, I know exactly where my props are for my next piece. Dean, you asked me why fairy tales, and I intend to answer that.
Go ahead then.
Fairy tales nowadays have been glazed over, becoming pink confections with no teeth. I couldn't stand it. I found a book that spoke using the original text. When I read them, in their original forms, in them I saw perfection. The utopian world. This modern world is fake, and not worth much to begin with. It is through these tableaus that I purify the world, one sinner's soul at a time.
Good luck trying that. My only question now is this. How did you get the scene set up so quickly? I know it was just you without any help. I just don't know how physically that was possible.
Oh, I didn't need help. I'm stronger than you seem to think I am. I can do more things than most people can even imagine doing. And when you lock me away, all you'll be doing is delaying the inevitable. Delaying my magnum opus.
Not likely. With the charges against you, you'll be rotting in prison for the rest of your natural life.
No, I won't, pretty boy. Trust me, I will be making art again. I am a man who always keeps his promises.
I gave a little time for the body to be transferred to Kieran's office. While we waited, Dean and I scoured through the evidence. We looked at the photos of the crime scene and tried to piece together what the next clue was for the next story. I called Joanna and asked her to keep a computer searching for Dunn's face on various cameras. Kieran called and said to come to the ME's office to discuss the case. When we arrived, we found a distraught Marilyn in the office, being comforted by Kieran. Marilyn, what's up?
I knew her, Jordan. She was a friend of mine. We've been to a few of the same premieres, and she's done some modeling campaigns with me. She was one of the most kindest women I have ever met. This is...
A tragedy.
I agree. We're gonna catch this guy. And this time, we're gonna put him in a cell he won't be able to escape from.
What do you mean by that, Jay?
Exactly what I said. Justice will be served.
Maybe this will be helpful. When I examined her body, I came across something I wasn't expecting. When I did a simple DNA test, her hormone levels showed that she had not been menstruating at the time of her death, and hadn't been for about a week. So I was confused why I found a tampon string. I tested it to see what it had absorbed, and this part might be relevant.
What was it?
It was sesame oil.
That's random.
What? Oh, no. No, it's not random. Oh, shit. Oh, shit, this is bad.
What is it, Jordan?
I know which fairy tale it is. And I know exactly how it connects to the tampon.
What is the story?
It's Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. The gross imagery that Dunn was working with was a phrase that is in the story. The phrase that is used to open a secret cave. The phrase is, "Open Sesame."
What a fucking pervert. I can't wait to punch this asshole in the face.
We need to be careful. Remember when he said 3 years ago that when he got out, he would top what he'd already done? Well, taking out 40 thieves might just be the way to top that. His magnum opus, if you will. Huh. Oh, fuck. And I think I know where he's going. I think I know what he's gonna do. Fuck. Okay, guys, we gotta hurry.
Where is he, and how do we stop him?
He's gonna be at the Bankers Gala today at the Stallion Hotel near the park. Kieran, call Joe and Scarlett. Have them meet us there. Marilyn, call Jeremy. Dean, call Jared. Tell him to call ahead and evacuate the building.
I'm on it.
Y'all, it's time to suit up. When we arrived at the hotel on our motorcycles, fully suited up, we were met by Jared and his police force. Several officers were comforting employees and hotel guests that were in shock. I approached Jared.
What's the situation?
He took out 2 people. Both are decapitated in the front hall. The corpse of the 3rd man is hanging in the lobby. He's got 38 other people in the presentation room, however.
Damn. Whitehawk, do we have visuals?
Yeah, he's in the big room down the long hall. He's in a room with 40 vats of oil. Red Wing, check out the footage from earlier.
Patch it to my lenses. Oh my god. Did he just...
Use some unknown power that we didn't realize he had? Yes. Yes, he did. From the looks of it, it's telekinesis of some kind.
Damn it. So that finally answers the question of how he did all of that stuff so quickly. Okay. Here we go. Guardians, be on your guard.
We'll be out there if you need us. Jordan, you better come back safely.
I'll try.
I signaled for everybody to follow me in. I walked slowly and deliberately, like I was waiting for a trap that could go off at any moment. The loudspeaker system activated, blaring Nick Dunn's poisonous voice.
Well, hello, Redway. Smile! You're on camera. I feel so fancy. You don't really come out during the day. You're just in time to watch me deliver this hot blessing. Come on, down the hall.
This is gonna be pretty dangerous. Whitehawk, Sparrow, and Cardinal, get behind me. You guys are squishier than me.
You bitch, did you just call me fat? Excuse you.
Not the time, guys. Whitehawk, I need you to see what it looks like in there.
Alrighty, and there you go.
Alright. Okay. Here's the deal. In Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, Morgiana the slave girl killed 38 thieves with boiling hot sesame oil. From the image that I'm seeing, there are 4 rows of 10 vats, and each one has a human dangling above it. Those vats most likely contain something that is corrosive and deadly.
Without seeing the acid and getting a sample of it, I don't think I can quickly synthesize a compound.
Leave that to me. I'll be right back.
Wow, I forgot she could do that. God damn, my cousin's cool. Okay, so, Key, once we have this sample, how fast can you synthesize a compound to neutralize the acid and make the vats harmless?
Honestly, probably only 30 seconds. Presuming that it's hydrochloric acid, I have a tablet that neutralizes that instantly.
Rock and roll. That's great. Kieran, I'm just curious. Why do you have that, buddy?
Apparently for moments like this. It's just baking soda. The reaction is almost instantaneous. It turns into salt water.
I can duplicate the tablet for you, and I can get them into the acid at the same time. It's a simple enough set of spells.
Perfect. But there is still the fact that they could drown in the salt water you created. Hang on a second. I've got that handled. I'll be right back.
Where's he gone?
I don't know.
I'm back, and I brought us someone who could help.
Hey?
Oh. That's actually a good plan.
Jordan, you're bleeding.
I'll be fine.
You can't go in there already weakened.
Dean, I'm fine. Has Al taught you how to access your powers yet?
Oh, the prince has taught me far more than just that.
Elizabeth Brennan waved her hand, and the sweatshirt and jeans that she was wearing transformed into a sea blue, form-fitting robe with matching pants. Her hair began to float as though she was underwater, and her eyes darkened to the color of an angry sea.
Well, I'll be damned. Look at you, Cher.
Welcome back, Marrow.
Thanks. Glad to oblige this once, but don't make a habit of it. I am still in hiding, remember?
Good. What we need from you is to, when I give the signal, make sure the water in the vats doesn't drown the men.
I think I can do that easily enough.
I'm back, y'all. And Karen, I'm sorry I didn't bring the sample back, but I recognize that stuff anywhere. It's hydrochloric acid.
Here, Scarlet.
Okay, great. Here we go. Let's cruise through.
As she said this, the tiny paper snakes suddenly became 40 paper snakes. When Scarlet said the spell to make the paper behave like snakes, Marilyn looked about ready to have a heart attack. They were small and discreet, but I had no doubt that they could get the job done.
Perfect. I'm going to go in with Warbird, Jeremy, and Marrow. Rook, take the sedative from Kieran, and when I say to, stick him in the neck from behind. I'm going to use a smoke bomb on the ground so you can do your stuff, Cardinal. I think we're ready. 3, 2, 1.
I opened the door and stormed in purposefully, while Jeremy rolled a smoke bomb into the middle of the floor. Nick Wayne Dunn was standing in the back of the row of vaults. As soon as we got a few paces in, I stopped and took a fighting stance.
Say, aren't you supposed to be in prison? I think it's time we got you back to your cell.
My word. You know how to make an entrance. Good on you. Too bad it's all for nothing.
Let the bankers go, Nick. Do you really want to add to your sentence?
Why would I care? I'm already in there for life. Besides, do you recognize these men?
No, I don't think I do. Why does that matter?
These are the 40 bankers who were part of the financial scandal. Each of these people have stolen money from the bank, from the innocent people they serve. Not that I much care about guilt or innocence. I care about the story. And this is such a poetic theme to my magnum opus. So very avant-garde.
Ugh, gag me with a spoon. This isn't art, you pretentious ass. This is human life. But then again, why would you care about human life? You're just a psychopath.
Shut it, bird boy. I am an artist and a storyteller.
You only regurgitate fairy tale nonsense and then pervert what it was originally for, and for what? So you can pat yourself on the back and say, job well done, I made something horrific that only I can appreciate. What a loser, and what an idiot.
Nick suddenly raised his hand and I felt my airways begin to constrict. I mentally asked Scarlet to hurry up with the snakes. I could hear the sizzling of the vats and kept listening for the sizzling sound to change when the snakes were in.
I'm not the loser here. And I'm not an idiot. See? I'm not the one who can't breathe right now. I'm not the one who came here without a good plan. I've got the upper hand on you. Finally, Jordan.
He let go of my neck and I dropped to my knees and stared at him. Dean was right. I shouldn't have come in while I was weakened. This was going to be a hard battle.
How did you know?
Those clues were specifically for you and Dino over there. It was pretty straightforward for someone with an intellect like mine. Plus, you have the same hair. I can see it. It's right there. Aw, very distinctive.
What are you waiting for, man? Why haven't you dropped them in the acid yet?
Easy enough. I was waiting for you to get here, so you could witness my masterpiece in real time. And not just the aftermath. And now that you're here...
No!
Now.
The banker's ropes all gave way at the exact same time. I heard them all splash. And then nothing. Scarlet had done her part.
What's going on?
Honestly, it's real simple, mate. You can't account for magic. Marrow?
Got it.
Marrow's eyes glowed, and the salt water rushed out of the vats and promptly straight out the window, shattering the glass. She reached out a hand and Nick started to choke. She hovered in midair and floated over to him.
You choked the life out of all your victims before you staged them, didn't you? Well, how does it feel, huh? How does it feel to be choked, huh, you weak son of a bitch?
Marrow, stand down. He's going back to jail where he belongs.
Ugh, fine. You're no fun. Mr. A is so much more fun than you.
Oh. Wow. That was...
Oh, shut the fuck up already.
My eyes were glowing red. I held up my hand, and apropos of nothing, Nick rose into the air for a moment, and then was pushed backwards as if by a shockwave. He hit the back wall and then fell to the ground. He groaned, but then he stood up. I glared through the red.
Rook, go for it.
Marilyn appeared behind him and jabbed him right in the neck, giving him a dose of a serious tranquilizer.
This is for Jasmine. Sweet dreams, bitch.
It was about 15 seconds before he slumped over. We took him back to prison, and his sentence was added on to. He would never be getting out of there alive. When I got home with Dean that afternoon, I shut the door and leaned against it, and took a deep breath. We had done it. I cried tears of relief, and tears for the loss of Jasminder. I cried with tears of frustration, knowing that there were more bastards like him out there. It all made me ask myself, is it worth saving humanity if it means that we have to save the killers too? I began to wonder if there was another way. I laid down in bed, and before I fell asleep next to my husband, I said a little prayer for Jasminder. May she find peace in the world beyond, whatever that world may be. Thank you for listening to Red Wing. Today's episode was written by J.V. Hampton-VanSant. This week you heard the voice talents of J.V. Hampton-VanSant, Elie Hirshman, Amanda Jacobson, Christine Osimo, Jordan Cobb, Skyler Paring, Brittany Nicholson, Chris the Toph Green, and Zane Sexton. For the complete cast list, please visit redwingpodcast.com. The title this week is based on the song The Devil's Back by The Pretty Reckless. You will find a link to that song in the show notes. Our music is composed by Nico of We Talk of Dreams. If you want to listen to any of these themes, please visit our website. Check out our show notes for links to our merch, our social media, and our website. As always, stay safe and fly high, heroes.